Welcome to the International Express to Book Central, departing now. Grab a seat, settle in, and let's while away the journey with some book chat. Hi there! Thank you for joining me today on the train to Book Central. I'm your host, Jules. Each week, while we travel along on this train, we will discuss a book or a short story or maybe a poem, and most definitely some medieval literature. I'll tell you something of the plot and then discuss some of my favorite aspects of whatever it is we just read. These episodes will of course contain heavy spoilers, as well as shock horror gasp, context and subtext, so be warned. Today you're getting something extra, namely some of my favorite poems by Mary Oliver. Mary Jane Oliver was an American poet born in 1935, whose poetry has a stronger affinity with the natural world than the human. Her poetry was deeply inspired by her childhood living in Ohio, specifically by her wonderment at its landscapes. She once also commented on how her long walks in nature and writing her poetry helped her overcome the difficulty of her upbringing. Her poems are romantic, not in the I'm in love way, but romantic like Wordsworth and Lord Byron. Big feelings and big thoughts being inspired by nature. But it is also grounded in a way that Wordsworth and Byron's poems never really were to me. Oliver's poems are not about making some big discovery about yourself and the world and thereby impressing everyone. Instead, they're about returning to your own true nature, to the basic elements of you that align to the world around you. Her poems always make me feel like I want to take a solitary ramble through the woods, take the time to watch dew glisten in the sun, and listen to a bird sing its full song. While this isn't something I often have time for, actually, her poetry still brings that rest and beauty of the natural world to me. It's a great antidote for world weariness. The first poem is called I Worried. I worried a lot. Will the garden grow? Will the rivers flow in the right direction? Will the earth turn as it was taught? And if not, how shall I correct it? Was I right? Was I wrong? Will I be forgiven? Can I do better? Will I ever be able to sing? Even the sparrows can do it, and I am, well, hopeless. Is my eyesight fading, or am I just imagining it? Am I going to get rheumatism, lockjaw, dementia? Finally, I saw that worrying had come to nothing, and gave it up, and took my old body and went out into the morning, and sang. This poem comes from Oliver's 2010 collection, Swan. The reason it resonates so much with me is because I sometimes struggle with my own anxiety, which very much takes the shape of constant worries about whether things will go well, if I should be doing something, or if I've done something wrong. These worries sometimes stop me from really living in the moment, from enjoying life and the things I've been given, from taking a chance and just being. This poem is a good reminder for me when I'm in a spiral to take a breath and take in the world as it is, rather than as I'm imagining it. And maybe to go out into the garden and sing. The second poem is called Wild Geese. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over announcing your place in the family of things. This poem comes from Oliver's 1986 collection, Dreamwork. I do have to admit, geese terrify me a little, with their feisty attitudes, quick beaks, and strong wings. But I'm also in awe of them a little, of how they track across the skies and find their way home regardless of all weather. This poem, for me, also links a little to the first one that I read. This poem is a strong reminder that you don't have to be a good martyr, suffering on endlessly, but that you have a rightful place in this world, that you are a part of its family of things, and that even your sorrow is a part of the world. I've spent a lot of my time living in big cities, where nature sometimes felt quite far away, and then it becomes too easy to see humans as something completely separate, something not even really a part of the natural world. This poem reminds me that we as humans are also animals living on this world, that we are a part of the family, that we are as linked to it as any other animal, and that we should probably do our best to keep the world safe, as it is the only true home that we have. Our third and final poem is Franz Marc's Blue Horses. I step into the painting of the 4 blue horses. I'm not even surprised that I can do this. One of the horses walks toward me. His blue nose noses me lightly. I put my arm over his blue mane, not holding on, just commingling. He allows me my pleasure. Franz Marc died a young man, shrapnel in his brain. I would rather die than try to explain to the blue horses what war is. They would either faint in horror or simply find it impossible to believe. I do not know how to thank you, Franz Marc. Maybe our world will grow kinder eventually. Maybe the desire to make something beautiful is the peace of God that is inside each of us. Now all 4 horses have come closer, are bending their faces toward me, as if they have secrets to tell. I don't expect them to speak. And they don't. If being so beautiful isn't enough, what could they possibly say? This poem was first published in Oliver's 2014 collection called Blue Horses, and it was the poem that first brought her to my attention. You see, when I was very, very young, my uncle painted me a version of Franz Marc's painting Die großen blauen Pferde, or The Large Blue Horses. I spent a lot of time staring at this painting, entranced by its vivid colors and slightly abstract shapes. I think the poem itself is inspired by Marc's painting Der Turm der blauen Pferde, or The Tower of Blue Horses, as this is the painting that features 4 horses. Franz Marc was a German expressionist painter who was drafted when World War I began. After mobilization, a list was drawn up of artists who should be exempt, but before he could be reassigned, he was sadly killed by a shrapnel piece during the Battle of Verdun in 1916. The contrast which Mary Oliver draws in this poem between the beauty of his art and the horror of his end is one which really got to me the first time I read it. The one line about the desire to make something beautiful being something a little divine in all of us also struck me. The idea that Marc's art and life, although cut short so violently, inspired Mary Oliver to write this poem and my uncle to paint something for me, and that I am now sharing all of that with you, somehow fills me with a little bit of hope. Creating art, whether it's poetry, painting, or anything else that gives joy, is an integral part of our species' survival, I think, and to see it survive through the hardest of times is a very good thing. And that is our little snack of poetry for today. If you'd like to hear more of Oliver's poetry, do let me know, as I have plenty more favorites to share. And that's it for today. If you have questions, thoughts on the book, or recommendations or requests for future episodes, feel free to leave a comment or send me an email at bookcentralpod@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. You can also subscribe to be informed when new episodes drop. You can find references to the materials used today in the description. Book Central is written and produced by me, and our music is by Scott Buckley. Thank you for joining me today on the International Express to Book Central.